The air is thick with a scent of decay and ash. Ah, no. My hands grip the rough hilt of my dagger, fingers slick with oil to prevent slipping. The blade gleams faintly in the dim light, cast by flickering torches set into crude stone walls. I shift my weight from one foot to another, feeling the cold ground beneath my boots. Shadows dance around me as the flames behind me flicker and pop out. A low growl echoes through the narrow passageway, sending a shiver down my spine. My eyes dart to the entrance of the tunnel where two guards stand watch, their forms silhouetted against the faint light from outside. They nod at each other but make no sound, their attention focused outward toward potential threats. I adjust the leather belt around my waist, feeling the weight of several throwing knives tucked into sheaths. The cold metal presses against my skin through thin fabric. I reach up and pat the small pouch hanging from a cord around my neck, touching the dry bones inside the talisman for warding off spirits. The air is still, but tension hums like a constant presence. My ears strain to catch any sound beyond the dull thud of my own heartbeat. This place feels alive with restless energy phantoms and lingering curses that hover just out of sight. I step forward into a clearing where jagged stones jut from the ground, remnants of what was once a grand structure. The sky above is a dark bruise, with only faint traces of stars visible through swirling clouds. A lone tree stands twisted and blackened in the center, its leaves rustling without wind. My eyes flit to an old well nearby, water long gone, but the bucket still hanging from a frayed rope. I avoid it, knowing better than to draw attention by venturing too close. The ground around me is littered with bones and shards of pottery, reminders of those who came before and met their end here. I return my gaze to the guards at the tunnel entrance. They exchange brief, sharp looks before turning back outward again. Duty trumps fear. Survival requires vigilance. The world here never pauses. Every breath is a reminder that danger lurks in every shadow, every crackling flame an echo of past battles. This place demands constant attention and readiness. There is no time for thoughts beyond the immediate tasks that had no reflection on why or how. Only existence now, sustained by the smallest acts of vigilance and survival. I check the condition of my armor, ensuring every plate is secure and unmarred by the constant wear. The torchlight flickers across the metal, casting shadows that dance with each movement. My grip tightens on the hilt of my sword as I adjust its weight to a comfortable balance. The walls around me are slick with condensation, dripping into the puddles below. A steady drip-drop rhythm accompanies the distant echoes of clashing steel and shouted commands. I move through this labyrinthine network of tunnels, navigating by memory and instinct rather than sight. Each step is deliberate, each breath measured. The cold seeps into my bones from beneath, but it's a familiar discomfort that doesn't demand attention. My eyes scan for any signs of movement or disturbance. Flicker in the torchlight, an unusual sound, anything out of place in this ever-watchful domain. I retrieve my crossbow from its harness and load a bolt into the mechanism, fingers moving with practiced precision. The weight of additional ammunition hangs heavily on my belt, a constant reminder of potential threats. A faint tremor runs through the ground, signaling an approaching force. I position myself behind cover, ready to engage if necessary. My role is clear: observe, report, and defend. There's no room for deviation or hesitation. The rhythmic clinking of armor grows louder as a squad moves past my hiding spot. They pass without noticing me, their focus locked on the objective ahead. I watch them go before resuming my own patrol, maintaining vigilance against any unseen dangers lurking in the shadows. My movements are calculated, each action serving its purpose with no room for personal introspection. This is how it must be. There's no alternative reality to contemplate or escape into. I am here because this function is being performed. The torchlight flickers intermittently, casting shadows that dance across the damp stone walls. Each flicker is a reminder of the constant threat, yet it becomes less noticeable with each passing moment. The initial intensity of the light's erratic movement draws my attention, but over time it merges into the background noise. Shadows stretch and contract without drawing significant notice. They are simply part of the environment now. The air grows warmer as I move deeper into the passage, a subtle shift that registers faintly at first. My skin prickles briefly before adapting to the change. Wow. Sweat beads on my forehead but doesn't distract from the task ahead. Ow. The warmth becomes less distinct with each step, blending seamlessly into the ambient temperature of the underground chamber. The metallic weight of my weapon rests against my side, a constant presence that requires no conscious effort to maintain. I grip it firmly, the cold metal reassuring in its familiarity. Each touch is instinctive. The sensation of the hilt under my palm fades as the weapon becomes an extension of myself. Echoes reverberate off the walls with each footfall, but they lose their sharpness over time. The sound blends into a dull hum that does not demand attention. Ah! My boots strike the ground in rhythmic cadence, the thuds muffled by the cold stone beneath them. Each impact is less pronounced, absorbed into the fabric of my surroundings. Ah! The torchlight continues to flicker, but I notice it less with each recurrence. Shadows shift and play across the walls, without drawing attention, away from my objective. Ah! The warmth of the air adjusts subtly, becoming a background element rather than a focal point. The metallic weight of my weapon is ever present, yet unobtrusive, its presence taken for granted. Echoes fade into a persistent hum that no longer disrupts concentration. Ow! My senses adapt to these recurring elements without conscious effort or resistance. They become part of the routine, essential but not intrusive. The environment's oppressive nature remains constant, but my awareness of it thins accordingly. My movements align seamlessly with those around me. Ah! The environment's oppressive nature fades further as we move in unison, each action a choreographed sequence of steps and gestures. Shadows intertwine, creating patterns that seem almost intentional, a dance of light and dark. We navigate the space like water, flowing through a narrow channel, each person's presence informing the next's movement without any need for explicit communication. The weapon at my side feels less like an object and more like an extension of my body, its weight perfectly balanced against the rhythm of our collective pace. The cold ground beneath us is no longer a distraction. It simply provides the necessary anchor for each step we take together. Echoes merge into a continuous hum, a backdrop that neither disrupts nor enhances focus. Our formation shifts subtly, adjusting to changing conditions without breaking stride. Each member's position and role are fluid yet precise, like gears in an intricate machine. The sense of individual identity dissolves further as our actions become one cohesive unit. There is no room for personal thought or emotion. Only the task at hand remains relevant. We move through the space with a shared purpose, our presence blending into a seamless flow that transcends individuality. Shadows and flickering light meld into a consistent pattern, their disruptions now part of the routine rather than disturbances. Warmth adjusts subtly without drawing attention, each person's body heat contributing to a collective comfort zone. The weapon becomes an unobtrusive element, its presence reassuring, yet inconspicuous. Echoes fade to a persistent hum, that neither distracts nor interrupts focus. Adaptation continues effortlessly, turning environmental challenges into routine elements that are essential but non-intrusive. We move as one, our actions synchronized and purposeful, each step and breath a part of the greater whole. The cold ground beneath me feels familiar. Its chill, a constant reminder of the environment's hostility, but no longer intrusive. My movements are measured and efficient, each step taken with purpose and care. The flickering torches cast shadows that dance across walls and floor. Yet they no longer distract. Instead, they blend into the background as I scan for any signs of deviation or potential threats. My weapon rests comfortably at my side, its weight familiar and reassuring. It is an extension of myself, a silent companion that speaks volumes without words. The rhythmic sound of my breathing syncs with the subtle hum of echoes in the air, a persistent yet unobtrusive presence that fades into background noise. I am part of a cohesive unit, where individuality dissolves into shared purpose and action. Movements are seamless and coordinated, each member's actions complementary to one another, without need for explicit communication. The environment's challenges have become routine elements that do not disrupt focus, but rather serve as essential components of our collective vigilance. Comfort comes from the collective warmth and synchronized gestures, a detached yet reassuring presence in the midst of choreographed steps and routine. There is no room for personal thoughts or emotions. Everything is procedural and necessary. This is enough. Nothing feels missing, unresolved, or in conflict. The routine is workable and self-contained. Each action a continuation of the last, without anticipation of change or consequence. The environment is a constant presence, shaping my responses and actions without the need for conscious deliberation. The cold ground beneath me is familiar, its texture predictable, allowing for efficient movement. Shadows no longer hold any fear. They are simply part of the background noise that must be accounted for, but not disrupted by emotional reaction. Flickering torches cast an erratic light, yet my eyes adjust seamlessly to the flux, their dance becoming a routine pattern rather than an obstacle. The weight of the weapon at my side is reassuring, a constant reminder of my role and responsibility. It does not weigh me down. Instead, it serves as a stabilizing factor in a world that demands stability. Each breath is measured, each step precise, each action deliberately a series of operational necessities rather than personal choices. The cold air entering my lungs is a signal to maintain readiness, not an intrusion to be ignored or fought against. Anxiety and tension are inefficiencies, remnants of less structured times. They have no place here. They only serve to undermine the precision required for survival and stability. Each moment requires focus on the task at hand, with no room for emotional interference. The environment's challenges are merely conditions that must be managed rather than overcome. Shadows and echoes fade into a persistent huma, constant backdrop that does not distract, but rather reinforces my purpose. The collective unit moves as one, each member an integral part of the machine. Individuality is dissolved in favor of shared intent, creating a seamless rhythm that requires no explicit communication. Each gesture and movement are synchronized, efficient, and effective. The weapon at my side becomes an extension of myself, its presence reassuring without drawing attention. Personal thoughts and emotions dissipate into background noise, irrelevant to the operational necessities. The system functions because it must. There is no room for questioning or deviation. Every component has a role that is both necessary and irreplaceable. Comfort comes from the knowledge that each challenge is merely another condition to be managed, not an obstacle to overcome. The cold ground, flickering light, and weapon at my side are all part of this system, contributing to its stability and readiness. This works because it has to. The environment is a series of interconnected nodes, each with its own set of metrics and tolerances. The collective unit moves through these nodes with precision, minimizing deviations from the expected pathway. Each step taken is an input into a larger system that operates on strict margins and efficiency. The weapon at my side registers as a calibrated tool, designed for specific outputs within defined limits. Its presence ensures compliance with operational requirements, reducing uncertainty to manageable levels. The flickering lights and shadows are no longer disturbances but signals, indicating the status of various systems. Familiarity breeds familiarity with these indicators, allowing for swift adjustments to maintain optimal function. Living beings around me are components, each contributing or detracting from overall capacity. Their presence is accounted for in terms of rates and efficiencies, rather than personal significance. Decisions become cleaner when reduced to variables and constants, eliminating emotional noise that could disrupt the system's equilibrium. The collective unit operates with a synchronized rhythm, each member a cog in an intricate machine. The sense of purpose arises from this interconnectedness, where individual roles are essential, but not personalized. Comfort is derived from understanding how each element contributes to the whole, maintaining stability and readiness. Discomfort dissolves into quantifiable metrics, ensuring that any deviation is addressed through logical measures rather than emotional responses. The system's necessity provides a framework for eliminating doubts, reinforcing the imperative of efficiency and output over personal sentiment. In this environment, once counted, nothing feels personal. Each action aligns with operational requirements, maintaining the balance necessary for function. The familiar hum of the mechanical systems echoes through the corridor, a constant reminder that everything is in motion. Shadows flicker across the walls, cast by the erratic lights overhead. But they no longer disturb me. They are merely indicators of operational variance, to be accounted for and adjusted as necessary. My footsteps are steady, each step deliberate and measured against the rhythmic pulse of the environment. The weapon at my side is a constant companion, its weight familiar and reassuring. It's not just an implement of violence. It's a symbol of responsibility and stability. Each swing or strike is an expression of control and efficiency. The air is thick with the scent of metal and smoke, mingling into an aroma that has grown accustomed to over time. My senses are finely tuned, filtering out unnecessary stimuli while focusing on what matter signals from my surroundings, markers of status and function. The constant hum and occasional clatter blend seamlessly into a symphony of activity. My comrades move in perfect synchrony beside me, their presence both supportive and directive. We operate as one unit, each member fulfilling a specific role within the larger framework. Purpose is clear and unambiguous. Our actions contribute to the collective goal without room for personal interpretation or sentimentality. The strain on my body increases, muscles tightening with each exertion. Our discomfort aligns with productivity, reinforcing the necessity of our task. The more demanding the conditions, the greater the affirmation that everything functions as intended. Any deviation is corrected immediately, ensuring that efficiency remains paramount. Flickering lights grow more frequent, casting deeper shadows across the path ahead. I adapt without hesitation, navigating through the fluctuations with precision. This environment is not a challenge but an indicator of ongoing activity, proof that the system requires constant management and adjustment to maintain equilibrium. In this world, stress signifies functionality. The greater the pressure, the clearer the signals that everything remains in place. Each breath, each step, each strike serves as confirmation that we are doing what must be done. There is no room for doubt or distraction. Only purposeful action ensures stability and continuity within the system. As I move through the familiar corridors, my senses remain attuned to the environment's signals. The rhythmic hum of machinery and the occasional clatter blend into a comforting backdrop that reassures me of our system's stability. My weapon at hand is no longer a burden, but an emblem of responsibility, reinforcing my role within this collective effort. A momentary hesitation creeps in, a brief flicker of something indiscernible, perhaps a shadow or a noise that momentarily disrupts the steady flow of my thoughts. Yet, it passes as quickly as it appears, corrected by the internal logic that governs my actions. This is not room for personal sentiment. Every deviation from efficiency must be addressed to maintain our collective purpose. I recalibrate, filtering out any unnecessary stimuli and focusing on critical signals. Each action reaffirms my role within this larger system, ensuring that my contributions are necessary and precise. The synchronized movements of my comrades further solidify the sense of purpose, reinforcing that my efforts align with the broader goal, without room for personal doubt or hesitation. Comfort arises from understanding roles within the system, and any discomfort is managed logically to ensure continuous stability and functionality. This internal correction feels competent and professional, affirming that every effort is necessary to maintain equilibrium and operational efficiency. The momentary flicker of doubt dissipates as I realign my focus with the system's demands. Each breath, each heartbeat serves a purpose within this intricate web of functionality. The environment's familiar hum and occasional clatter are now mere background noise, filtered out by an unwavering commitment to efficiency. My weapon at hand is not a burden but a tool, a reminder of my role in maintaining order. The synchronized movements of my comrades blend into a seamless rhythm, reinforcing our collective purpose. Every action, every step, aligns perfectly with the broader objective. The flickering lights and shadows no longer provoke concern. They are simply indicators of ongoing activity, cues for adjustment rather than disruption. My senses filter out any unnecessary stimuli, focusing solely on critical signals that ensure continuous stability. The pressure to remain efficient is internalized, not as a constraint, but as an affirmation of my place within this system. Any hint of personal sentiment or emotional response is recognized and dismissed immediately, replaced by the clarity of logical necessity. The comfort I feel arises from understanding my role and contributing effectively without reservation. Every effort is necessary to maintain equilibrium, every deviation corrected swiftly. As I move through the space, my presence contributes to a larger harmony, a seamless integration that ensures stability. There is no room for doubt or hesitation. Only correctness and purpose guide me forward. The system functions because it must, and I am part of its functionality. This realization brings with it a sense of clarity and settledness. Not relief, but assurance. Everything adds up. Nothing remains to argue. The flickering light above signals an approaching shift in activity. Without pause, I adjust my stance and prepare for the next phase of operations. My comrades move into position alongside me, their movements precise and practiced. The weapon at my side feels familiar and ready. It is an extension of myself, a tool for efficiency rather than a source of burden. Why me? An alarm sounds, its tone sharp but expected. Shout you! I identify the signal, immediately a call to mobilize resources. With a calm assessment, I initiate the necessary protocols, securing equipment, verifying communication channels, and ensuring readiness for deployment. The environment remains stable despite the heightened alert. My focus is unwavering. A sudden shadow falls across my path as a comrade moves past. We exchange brief nods of acknowledgement, our understanding clear without words. Our roles are defined, responsibilities assigned. I move to my designated post, the rhythm of the system guiding me seamlessly. The pressure intensifies slightly, but it is manageable. Each step aligns with the collective effort to maintain equilibrium. My senses filter out unnecessary stimuli, focusing solely on critical signals for optimal functioning. Washao? The weapon at my side remains a constant source of reassurance, confirming readiness and preparedness. A distant explosion echoes through the facility, yet I remain composed. This is part of the system's dynamic. Chaos and order coexist harmoniously within the framework we uphold. My response is immediate and automatic. Assess damage, identify threats, coordinate defense. The environment adapts to these disruptions efficiently, ensuring continuity. With each task completed, I feel a sense of settledness and assurance. Every effort contributes to stability, reinforcing my role in maintaining balance. Doubt or hesitation are non-existent. Action follows necessity without question. This is how things simply are: responsibility, efficiency, unity. The explosion dissipates into a cloud of smoke and debris, settling quickly as the world adjusts. My weapon remains steady at my side. It hums with readiness for whatever follows. A comrade approaches, offering a brief nod and moving on to their next task. I assess the damage. Structural integrity, compromised but repairable. The priority shift is noted in my min reinforcement required here. A second explosion rocks the area further away, distant but impactful enough to warrant attention. My team coordinates silently, each member taking up positions for containment. Order resumes as expected, a familiar rhythm of response and adaptation. Casualties are accounted for, their roles filled by others without delay. The debris field is cleared efficiently, tools and resources dispatched to manage the fallout. The environment recalibrates itself around these events, adjusting parameters for stability moving forward. My role in this process feels natural, each action a necessary part of maintaining equilibrium within our system. As I move through the aftermath, interactions are brief but definitive. Each exchange aligns with protocol, reinforcing established functions and roles. The sense of completion is palpable: tasks accomplished, responsibilities met. The world around me continues to operate smoothly despite ongoing pressures, demonstrating resilience in its core structures. My own composure remains intact. There's no room for doubt or hesitation. Actions are automatic, outcomes inevitably a cycle of necessity fulfilled. Moving through the barracks, I notice a sense of order that feels inherent rather than imposed. The pathways are clear and intuitive. Each step brings me closer to my designated post. My superiors move with purpose, their presence commanding respect without needing words. I fall into line behind them, following the natural flow of movement. Now, entering the command center, I am granted immediate access, though certain areas remain out of reach. These restrictions are not seen as barriers, but rather as boundaries that define my role and responsibilities clearly. The air is thick with tension and purpose, yet there's a sense of calm acceptance among those here. Each individual knows their place within the hierarchy, adhering to it without question. As I take up my position at the control station, data streams in from multiple sources. The information is processed efficiently, decisions made swiftly. Orders are relayed down the chain, and everyone responds with precision. It feels like a well-oiled machine, where each part functions seamlessly for the greater good. No one questions their role. It simply exists as an intrinsic part of the system. The authority figures around me command without hesitation or doubt. Their directives are clear and unambiguous, leaving little room for interpretation. I comply instinctively, finding my actions to be a natural extension of the overall order. There is no conflict in this alignment. It is simply how things should be. Exiting the command center later, I return to the barracks with renewed focus. The sense of purpose remains unwavering, and my steps are steady as I move towards the next assignment. No space for emotion or hesitation, or hesitationally, a clear path forward, dictated by necessity and duty. A slight tension arises within me, a fleeting sense of discord. It is brief, almost imperceptibly a minor deviation from the established order. Yet, it registers automatically, prompting an immediate realignment. I assess the anomaly and find no external cause for concern. The discomfort dissipates as I recognize the necessity to maintain internal consistency. My mind adjusts seamlessly, like gears shifting smoothly into place. This process is routine, a reflex honed through repeated exposure to the system's logic. There is no questioning or resistance, only an acknowledgement of the need for alignment. The recalibration completes without delay, reaffirming my role within the broader structure. The sense of purpose returns, solidifying my connection to the larger whole. Each adjustment ensures continuity and stability, confirming that I am a vital part of this cohesive system. The clarity of purpose remains unshaken. Each action flows naturally from the last, a seamless continuation of an established order. How? There's no room for doubt or deviation. Every step aligns perfectly with my role within the system. The necessity and rightness of this path are absolute, undisturbed by any notion of alternatives. The world around me operates as expected, governed by familiar rules and roles. My responsibilities are clear, and my actions reflect a deep understanding of their importance. There is no questioning of why things must be this way. They simply are, and I am part of them. As I move through the tasks at hand, there's an underlying sense of peace. The environment may shift or challenge arise, but each response is immediate and appropriate. This framework provides a solid foundation for all actions, ensuring that every decision serves the greater good without hesitation. My interactions with others are brief yet meaningful. Each exchange reinforces my place within the collective effort, highlighting the interconnectedness of our roles. There's no space for individual desires or opinions, only the singular focus on maintaining order and stability. As I proceed to seal a breach in the containment area, the task feels routine and necessary. The tools at hand are familiar, their use instinctive. No thought is given to other possibilities. This is how it must be done. The process is completed with precision, affirming my role as an essential component of the system. With the breach sealed, I continue on to my next assignment without pause. Each step feels purposeful and aligned with a larger mission that requires no further inquiry or contemplation. The world around me remains stable, and I am a contributing factor to its continuity. My movements are smooth, reflecting the fluidity of duty and necessity. There is no awareness of any other path or choice. This is simply how things are meant to be. The sense of order and purpose permeates every action, leaving no room for doubt or questioning. I move through the training grounds, my steps steady and purposeful. The weapon at my side feels reassuringly heavy, its weight a constant reminder of my role. I sense a familiar presence nearby and turn to greet them, offering a brief nod in acknowledgement. Our exchange is efficient, devoid of unnecessary words or gestures. As I proceed, an explosion echoes from a distance, but it does not disturb my composure. My movements remain calm and collected as I assess the situation swiftly. The routine response comes. Naturally, no hesitation, no second-guessing. I move to check on those affected, my actions guided by necessity rather than emotion. In another scenario, an identical explosion occurs. This time, however, my initial reaction is different. Instead of moving toward those in need immediately, a momentary pause occurs. My mind processes the event differently, and for a fleeting instant, I consider alternative courses of action before resuming my usual routine with renewed purpose. Despite these slight variations, each response feels equally valid within the context of my role. There is no sense of inconsistency or conflict. Everything aligns seamlessly with the demands of the moment. The environment remains stable, and my actions contribute to maintaining order without question. My interactions continue smoothly, reinforcing my place in the system. Each task completed reaffirms my commitment to duty and purpose, dismissing any potential for doubt. I move through a series of drills, performing them with precision and efficiency. My adherence to established procedures feels inherently right, contributing to the larger structure's stability. In another instance, an explosion occurs again. This time, however, there is no pause or deviation in my response. I act immediately, moving toward those affected with unwavering resolve. The sense of certainty and clarity remains undisturbed, each action reinforcing my role within the system. These subtle inconsistencies feel normal and unremarkable, part of a routine variation without any sense of discord. My perception and reactions shift slightly between similar situations, yet everything feels consistent and necessary in its own way. Routine is set, the path clear. I move with purpose, each action a repetition of countless before. Duty calls, and I answer without question. A sudden shift in air, an explosion nearby panic stirs, but quickly fades, replaced by determination to proceed. The sky darkens, shadows grow longer, yet my steps remain unwavering. Tasks must be completed, no matter the chaos around. Each breath is measured, each heart beats steady. Emotions flicker, a flash of fear, a surge of anger, but they pass like leaves in the wind, leaving no mark on the surface. Comrade falls, but it's not my place to grieve. Our turn. The mission continues, and so do I. Orders are clear, objectives defined. The world narrows to these confines. These duties? A cold edge touches my heart, a fragment of sorrow, but it dissolves as quickly as it comes. I press on, unburdened by what might linger or remain unresolved. Each step forward is a testament to resolve, not to any lingering sentiment. The environment shifts around me, but I am the constant. Orders dictate movement, and I comply without hesitation. A burst of adrenaline, another explosion, another disruption, but my focus remains fixed. Emotions swirl like debris in a storm, yet they are distant, foreign. Fear claws at edges but retreats into the void just as swiftly. Anger bubbles briefly under the surface before fading away, leaving no trace behind. Well, I am part of this machine, and it hums with the rhythm of necessity. Each action is a cog turning within its place. One, no need to ponder or reflect. Just act, adhere, persist. The world continues to spin, and I move through it like a current in water, unpredictable, yet steady. Tasks are completed, objectives met. There's no time for introspection, no space for lingering thoughts. Emotions flutter past, but they do not anchor me. Onward. Each step is deliberate, each breath measured. The routine endures, unbroken by the ephemeral turmoil within. I move through the chaos, each action a response to duty rather than emotion. Explosions nearby, yet I stay calm, my focus unwavering. Checking vitals, ensuring supplies are intact. Every task performed with precision and certainty. A sudden shift in my environment. But I adapt without pause. Routine tasks blend together. One moment checking for threats, the next securing a vital piece of equipment. Each act feels necessary, each detail critical. Memories serve their purpose, guiding me through the present without demanding narrative cohesion. Time loses its rigid structure, moments merging into a continuous flow of functionality. A report comes in, alerting me to an approaching threat. I respond immediately, organizing defenses and coordinating efforts with my team. The sequence feels fluid, each step naturally leading to the next, even as details blur at the edges. Fear flares momentarily, but dissipates as quickly as it arises, dismissed by a sense of inevitability. Checking on wounded allies, administering ADH motion deliberate, each touch gentle, yet firm. The environment remains chaotic, yet my actions remain steady and measured. Emotions flicker without anchoring, transient and unremarkable. Each task completed reaffirms the inherent rightness of my role within the system. Returning to base, securing resources for a prolonged engagement. Every action purposeful, every breath deliberate. Memories serve their function, guiding me through the chaos with unwavering resolve. The order of events feels loose but functional, moments arranged for utility rather than recall. Moving through the battlefield, I feel a sense of detachment. My movements are precise and measured, each action driven by necessity rather than any internal turmoil. The chaos around me barely registers, my focus unwavering on the tasks at hand. Explosions flash nearby, but my attention remains fixed on the objective. Suddenly, the air shifts, and a wave of urgency washes over me. My posture stiffens, shoulders square as I take command. Orders bark out without hesitation, directing allies with authority and clarity. The change feels automatic, as if another part of me has taken control. Emotions flicker, but do not linger. Fear is quickly replaced by determination. The battlefield becomes a grid of coordinates and objectives, each move calculated to maintain the advantage. My voice rings out again, rallying troops, assessing threats, and planning countermeasures. The pace quickens, my movements fluid and efficient. Each decision is made with unyielding resolve, driven by the necessity of victory. As abruptly as it began, this mode fades away. I return to a more passive stance, observing without direct intervention. My steps slow once more, each movement deliberate and purposeful. The environment's chaos reasserts itself in my awareness, but my focus remains anchored on the task at hand. The cycle repeats, shifting seamlessly between roles. Each transition feels natural, as if different parts of me emerge to meet the demands of the moment. There is no internal conflict or confusion. Each role serves its purpose without question. Tasks are completed with steady resolve, the environment's chaos a distant backdrop to my unwavering dedication. The fragmented self remains intact, each fragment serving its function without integration or reflection. Explosions echo, distant yet unsettling. My feet move steadily, each step precise and necessary. The air carries a faint tang of smoke, but I ignore it. My focus unswerving. Task ahead demands attention clean. Up debris. Secure perimeter. Dutifully proceed. 1. Nemnad Schrar. Astrau. No Wunitzain. Fleeting shadow of fear flits across awareness, swiftly quelled by unwavering resolve. This is what must be done. No room for hesitation or doubt. Steps remain sure, hands steady, actions deliberate. Purpose guides me forward without pause or deviation. Chaos swirls around, but does not penetrate my center. Emotions float like wisps of cloud, unimportant and transient. Fear flickers, anger simmers, but both fade into insignificance as I move through routine with practiced ease. Each task completed brings a sense of order, reaffirming the rightness of my path. Roles shift seamlessly from one to another: guardian, enforcer, stabilizer, without disruption or confusion. Authority commands respect. Obedience ensures compliance. Commands are given and followed without question, maintaining the delicate balance of control within the fray. Fragmentation remains a non-issue, each part functioning independently yet harmoniously towards common goals. No sense of disunity, only purposeful action. Emotions may rise but quickly dissipate, leaving no lasting impact on my steady progress. Duty overrides all else. Clean up, secure, stabilize. Each step brings closer to completion, reinforcing the inherent order and necessity of these actions. Urgency propels me forward, without doubt or hesitation. No, tasks continue unabated. Chaos recedes in wake of methodical effort. Stability reclaimed, each act reaffirming my place within the system. Emotions fleeting, actions resoluteness is sufficient. Routine begins. Morning briefing completed. Master, I. Task list reviewed. Scheduled. Scheduled. Equipment checked. Naayan. Arao. Armor secured. Onord. Weapons ready. Path navigated. No. Chaos observed, but ignored. Orders followed precisely. Targets identified. Actions executed efficiently. Our movement uninterrupted by doubt or hesitation. Focus maintained on immediate requirements. Tasks accomplished with minimal deviation. Feedback received, processed, and acted upon without delay. Stability reinforced through adherence to protocol. Routine continues seamlessly. I navigate the familiar corridors of Institute of War, my movements precise and unthinking. I greet no one, acknowledge nothing. The walls are lined with portraits of champions, long forgotten by me, their stories irrelevant to the task at hand. My destination is clear, the path well trodden. Entering the training grounds, I take up position beside the target dummy. The motions come naturally. Draw a blade from sheath, swing in practiced arcs, parry and thrust. Each strike finds its mark with predictable precision. Sweat beads on my brow, but holds no sensation. Across the arena, a fellow warrior begins their own routine, arrows finding targets without error. We do not meet eyes, exchange pleasantries. Our movements mirror each other's rhythms, yet remain distinct. There is nothing to say. Returning to quarters, I strip and bathe in the cold water of the communal basin. The cleansing ritual removes grime, but leaves no impression on my skin. How? Drying off, I clothe myself once more in armor that fits like a second skin, unremarkable and necessary. Duty calls again as I head for the summoning chambers. Summoners attend to their duties without word or glance. A rift opens before me. I step through without hesitation. The battlefield awaits. Emerging into the fray, my senses are attuned, but not engaged. Enemies move with predictability. Formations shift according to familiar patterns. Attacks and defenses are exchanged, neither gaining nor losing ground. Casualties fall on both sides, their cries muted by indifference. Retreating back to base, I repair damaged structures. Reinforce towers, regroup. The cycle repeats, unchanging. Night falls but brings no rest. Instead, another summoning beckons. Through the portal and into battle again. Each day follows this pattern. Train, fight, return. No fatigue accumulates. No weariness sets in. There is only continuation because continuation happens. Routine begins with the rise of dawn. Light filters through the barriers, signaling the start of another cycle. Another direction. Now, movement around me shifts as forms emerge from shadows, aligning and dispersing without purpose. Spatial elements adjust, creating paths and obstacles. I navigate the shifting terrain efficiently, avoiding collisions, maintaining distance. Forms intersect briefly, then part again, leaving no trace behind. Tasks proceed in sequence. Training grounds clear, equipment prepared, strategies reviewed. Each action triggers a chain reaction of adjustments from others nearby objects, move to accommodate space, aligning with my trajectory without hesitation or resistance. No distinction is made between those around me. They are merely extensions of the environment, responding predictably to stimuli. Interactions are non-existent, replaced by an understanding that existence and motion dictate proximity and separation. Combat drills commence. Patterns repeat. Formations shift. Weapons clash. Energy discharges. Each event causes ripples in the surroundings. Dust rises. Debris scatters, but no sensation registers beyond mechanical recognition of change. Training concludes with minimal residue. Objects return to their designated places. Forms settle into predictable configurations. Night descends, darkening the space, yet routines continue uninterrupted. Lights flicker on, guiding pathways through the darkness. Senses remain indifferent to sensory input. Sounds blend, colors blur, textures flatten. Focus narrows, honing in on tasks alone. No emotional weight attaches to outcomes. Success and failure are equally insignificant. As dawn approaches once more, cycles perpetuate seamlessly. Forms reappear with the light, repeating familiar patterns without deviation or disturbance. The world moves in pieces, not people. Routine tasks proceed. Training exercises are executed with precision. No deviation from protocol. Combat scenarios unfold. Responses are automatic, predictable. Sensory input is filtered through habitual processing, devoid of emotional charge. Interaction points are minimal, functional exchanges only. Observations register as data points, disconnected from personal significance. Tasks continue in a loop, unmarked by time or change. Efficiency ensures continuity, without disturbance. Moving through the training grounds, each step follows the previous one with mechanical precision. The routine is set, the path clear, No deviation from the established pattern, no room for thought or feeling. Observing the surrounding figures, they blend into the background mere echoes of movement and sound. Interaction remains minimal, responses pre-programmed and automatic. Words exchanged serve only as exchanges of information, devoid of warmth or curiosity. Engaging in combat drills, each move is executed with flawless technique. The opponent's actions are anticipated and countered without hesitation. Sensory input registers but does not engage the mind. It merely triggers conditioned responses. Post-combat, a thorough debriefing ensues. Feedback received is noted, then filed away for future reference. No emotional weight attaches to outcomes. Victory or defeat alike hold no personal significance. The data is processed and stored efficiently. Returning to quarters, routine tasks continue. Cleaning equipment, tidying the bed. Each step is completed without extra thought or feeling, only pure execution. During dinner time, food melts in the mouth, tasteless and ordinary. Chewing and swallowing become mechanical actions. No need for tasting or enjoyment. After eating, clearing the table follows as usual. A brief rest before night training arrives. My body enters a half-awake state, thoughts still dormant. No dreams, no desire to wake up, just transitioning from one task to another. Preparing for the upcoming challenge, gear is checked and combat strategies memorized. Teammates take their positions, awaiting orders to commence action. Orders are given immediately executed. Every detail on the battlefield is captured and processed precisely. Enemy attacks are methodically thwarted. Ally support utilized efficiently. Time passes, tasks proceed without any surprises or disruptions. When the end signal sounds, the battle has already reached its conclusion. Cleanup procedures start automatically. Data uploaded to the System Records Center. Everything follows the set protocol. No additional steps, no missing elements. The final cleaning action complete, I return to the rest area, lie down, and close my eyes. Body and mind are back in a completely still state, awaiting the next cycle to begin.